Matt with Fox Airsoft here, and I'm here to answer the question of what is a Proline gun and why is it so much more expensive than a Sportline gun? The simplest answer is a Proline gun, you're paying for a lot of the external fit and finish on a rifle that's upgraded versus a Sportline gun. So for example, most Sportline guns are going to be a polymer construction on their body, where a Proline gun is going to be a metal construction. Now, metal is a loose term. There are different grades of metal. Proline guns typically use a high grade of aluminum that's very strong and it's going to hold up to a lot of abuse. So just because something's metal does not make it Proline just by that. Now, the other things you're going to notice in a Proline gun, typically you're going to have a great fit and finish with trademarks. You're going to typically have other external features like flip-up battle sights, a more advanced rail system, a nicer stock. So a lot of these things that just make the rifle feel more complete and feel more like a real rifle. So when I first started playing, I had a composite gun and I just always wanted to, when I touched that plastic body, it's like the gun held up fine and it did good, but I wanted something that felt a little bit nicer. And so then I moved up into a Proline gun and I love it. It's something I would never go back from. Now this Proline versus the Sportline rifle shoots very similarly. They typically shoot a little bit crisper. Sometimes they're using maybe a better barrel in them, a better piston. They might also have some electronic fire control units built in as well too. So you're going to get a little bit better performance out of them compared to the Sportline rifle. So you're paying for those extra features, and that's where the price discrepancy comes from. Like anything you see when you're purchasing it, typically you get what you pay for. So if you see a gun advertised as full metal and it's 80 bucks, I would, be wary of that. All right, now the life cycle on a Proline gun internally is going to be about the same as a Sportline rifle. That means your internals are going to produce wear and tear over time, and we recommend or typically see about 25,000 rounds or more before you have a maintenance interval. So the additional money that you're spending on the gun is not to change that. That's going to be a factor whether you're on the Sportline or the Proline rifle. All right, I'm often asked if I should start with the Proline gun or start with the Sportline gun. Well, the first question you want to ask yourself is, what is your budget? What can you afford? And then, do you want something that's going to feel really solid in your hands? Because that's where your extra money is going towards. It's for that feeling. In terms of operation internally, very similar to the Sportline rifle. Another question people ask is, why don't these guns come with anything like a battery and a charger? Well, the simple answer is, typically by the point you buy a Proline gun, you've probably already owned an airsoft gun and you might already have a battery and a charger. So that's something that they're not adding additional cost in there for you to purchase. The other reason is people at that level typically use two different types of batteries. They either use a lithium polymer or a nickel metal hydride, and so it depends on what you want as a consumer, how you want to set up your gun. If you're teetering between a Sportline and a Proline rifle right now, just ask yourself, what do you really want? If you want to be playing airsoft for a long time and you want the feel of something very rigid that has a very high quality fit and finish, absolutely go with the Proline rifle. You're not going to be disappointed and you're going to have a lot of fun with that gun for years to come.